Hello?
How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, man?
Nothing much. Nothing much. Been a long day. Ain't over soon though.
Right on. Cool. So I am streaming this, so hopefully, if all goes well, I should be able to figure out how to upload it for you.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Yeah. So, Silver One, right?
Yeah,
You're
Silver one. I
interested
failed my
in
promo the other day. It sucked.
nice. I've been failing Diamond Four promos left and right, so
Fuck.
gotta learn.
That sucks.
Dude, peak at Diamond Two, go away for a week to get a New York, drop to Diamond Five, and keep hitting like Diamond Three and
Oh,
falling back down.
that
Destroy.
sucks.
So you're an ADC main. Which ADCs do you like to focus on?
Well, I think I'd like to work on Lucian, probably the most. So I was like started playing Draven like out of the gate. I don't know how in God's name I got on that, but um, I played him for a long time, and then I just moved to Tristana when my buddy just wouldn't shut up about her, and I kind of fell in love with her, even though I know she's not considered, top tier.
Yeah,
But um, so then, yeah, recently I just picked up Lucian, and
Lucian definitely.
just kind of, like as far as in the game, just like mechanics with in like the lane, and then
Like as far as like momentum and stuff.
I have a huge like just something that you'll see. Like I have no idea when to freeze and when to push. Like my thoughts are like if I can push as fast as I can, as long as I'm like warded well, then I'm denying CS to the tower, right? But I
Yeah.
feel like every time I like watch either like I watch LCS or something like that, it's like oh well he's freezing here, and so I just don't know when to freeze ever. It's
Well, the
like
thing
not.
about LCS that you'll notice is there's a lot of things they do differently. For example, someone double lists pages. When he goes to the LCS, he actually his if you look at his rune pages,
Mhm,
he has a blanket top page, a blanket mid page, a blanket jungle, and a blanket support.
mhm.
Now, double lift runs 15 variations of the ADC page,
Yeah.
and this ranges from like attack speed to
Mhm.
lifesteal quints to armor quints to he has everything. And
Yeah.
the reason like they do this is because they try to make it optimal in every matchup. So
Mhm.
like when the lane's pushing in LCS and you get that opportunity to freeze, as long as there's no other pressure in that map, it's a way of like denying farm and keeping them away from the farm and making
Mhm.
sure they have to push up into an unwarded situation
Right, right.
most of the time. So it's there you'll be looking out for things like that. Freezing as far as solo queue goes, I don't do it too often. I'd
Mhm.
rather like because my philosophy is, as far as solo queuing, the most pressure you can draw to yourself, the better the game's gonna go.
Right.
Because that means you're in control of where the jungler's going, their
Right,
jungle,
right.
of course. Because if I'm pushing to the tower 24/7, I'm giving their bot laner hell, because I'm a very aggressive player.
Right.
And I want their jungler to come. Every time that jungler gets back from well, I want him to come bot lane. And
Mhm.
the reason that is because I can trust myself as a player. I cannot trust No Name Joe,
Oh
the
yeah.
mid laner. I can't trust Jim Bob, the top laner. I don't
Mhm.
know those players, so I'd rather have the pressure on me and take that away from them, make their lives a little bit easier.
Mhm.
So I'm one of those players that constantly pushes.
Right. And that's
Of course, you can't always if you get behind, but
right, right, right. And see, that's like, and because of Tristana's E, it's like kind of hard to freeze. And I'm not like, I think I haven't kind of mastered freezing in general because of that. It's like she naturally pushes.
yeah,
But I think I'm getting better at it. It's just a lot of it was like not even knowing when to freeze. But like you said, I mean, I think I completely agree, and that's how I felt about it. Is like I trust myself and my elo more so than I trust my teammates. So I agree with you that is like pushing for me is probably the best. Has been the most successful.
yeah. I mean, a lot of things. As far as that strategy goes, a lot of things I don't see a lot of. Not even doesn't matter what the elo is as far as ADCs go. A lot of them are very shy of spinning their golden ward. Personally, every time I go back, I'm usually buying one or two greens and a
Mhm.
pink ward because I
Mhm.
like having that vision control. It's another thing. It leaves my support an easier time. It gives everybody an easier
Mhm.
time on the team. So if you
Yeah.
can actually get that vision control out yourself
Mhm.
and work through this process of hey, push, make yourself an advantage,
Mhm.
turn that advantage into the next, turn that advantage into the next.
Right.
For an example, I harass their support low. Their support needs to go back. We can establish vision control. Vision control is established. We can deny them vision. denying them vision can set up a gank. Setting up a gank can secure a dragon. Snowball the advantage into the next, and that's how
Mm,
you're gonna win games, especially in lower elos. It's gonna be focused on getting your team to work together, because I mean, if you're doing well by yourself, if I am a 20-0-0 Pantheon from the jungle, and
mm,
everything I do revolves around getting my buffs, taking my camps, and ganking whichever lane has a kill in it, and then I go back to that, that's not helping my team. That's just giving me gold. Like,
right.
if I'm not there working with my team, getting my players together, and taking that advantage and putting it towards the team, there's
Mm,
no use in having that. So, I mean, I see a lot of players come to me, and they'll be like, Lemons, what am I doing wrong? I'm going 15-0 every game, and I'm not winning.
right.
And you got to realize it's a team game. You have to be able to distribute that gold across the team,
Mm,
whether that be actually trying to secure kills from your teammates, whether that being trying to donate buffs, whether that being letting other carries get your farm, whether that being grouping up for towers and dragons and whatnot.
mm,
It's different aspects of the game. So being able to alleviate some of that pressure off your other players as well is a big part of solo queue.
nice. Yeah. See, I think like you're saying, there's like even like if you're being successful in lane, and let's just say 3-0 in lane, right? And I think that's where I like, and let's say I push down my tower, I find problems. One, keeping my CS up without. I
Yeah,
mean, you know what I mean? Like that's like seriously like probably one of my biggest struggles. Like I don't. I mean, I know, obviously I don't CS fantastically, but I feel like I'm not horrible at it. But I do notice that it falls off. And
Yeah,
so
I got
that's
some
like,
resources I can give you after the game as well, and one of them is a CSing infographic. A lot of my students actually love it. It takes
really.
about 8 minutes and it's about 9 steps, and you can work your way through the steps. And it's supposed to train you into perfect elo, and it's like as far as like harass management by adding bots into the game. And there's certain techniques of like, now I'll try to CS while auto attacking every possibility. Now I'll try to CS only when you have to, and then try
Mhm.
to CS varying in between the two, and now try to CS while auto attacking the enemy champion as much, etc., etc. And I'll
Right.
definitely give you that guide after the lesson.
Cool. That would be awesome. Yeah, because I mean, obviously, I feel like honestly, where I'm at right now, just CSing well is like will carry you through a game. Like, so yeah, it'd be awesome to get.
I
And
mean,
then,
you look at League, you look at all these pro players. Like,
hmm
why are they trying to get these kills? Why are they trying to secure towers? Why are they trying to secure dragons?
hmm
That's all for a gold advantage, and that gold
hmm
advantage turns into an item advantage, and that's how you're going to overpower the enemy to kill their nexus.
hmm
CSing is the easiest way to get a gold advantage over somebody. If you're great at CSing and they're average, then
hmm
you're going to get a free advantage. 15 minion kills equates to the same amount of gold as one kill.
Right, right. And that's something I
Yeah.
feel like it like you have to like just sit there and like believe that. If you don't, it's like you just get that greed to like kill, and it's like, okay, all I have to do is farm like 3 waves and I'm good. But yeah, no, just convincing yourself of that is the hardest part. But um, so yeah.
Yeah. So as far as like how the lesson plan wants to go, what I described in the on LoL coaching,
hmm
generally with people platinum and under,
hmm
or gold 1 and under, what I like to do is do a complete run through of my runes, my masteries,
Okay.
how your runes can fit a certain playstyle, what the pros are using, and how that's going to relate to you. And then just go into masteries, tell you what's optimal, what you can and can't do, like what's a good idea, what's a bad idea, and then we can jump into a team builder game.
Right on.
Sounds good. So
Yep.
first thing I'm gonna do is invite you to a blind pick, just as eases access, so we can view each other's profiles.
Okay.
Have I accepted you as a friend, or I added you as a
I
friend?
don't believe so.
Yeah, I was looking for you on my friends list.
There you
Yeah, that might help, wouldn't it?
go.
Oh God, TSM.
No, no, I saw the thing to toss and I started laughing. Yeah. Look, don't hate. I'm not a crazy fan, but
Dude, I'm wearing a TSM bracelet right now. No
nice,
hate.
nice.
Well, I supported him for the AHQ promise when he
Oh
had his
yeah, yeah, dude, that was
when
bad.
they were doing their donations, their
Uh huh.
charity. That's when I
Definitely.
bought some.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, so anyways, if you like to come over to my runes and masteries, I'm gonna be using my first and second page. Those are my ADC pages I like using. And a little background to me as a player.
Mhm.
I like playing people like Lucian, Caitlyn, and Graves.
Okay.
I'm very aggressive as far as come to laning. I try to get those advantages going as soon as I can. So
Mhm.
as Caitlyn, I'm a lane bully. I abuse the long range. As Graves, I abuse auto attack, Q, auto attack, etc. As Lucian's just a god right now.
Right.
I try to establish those advantages early, so you'll see a little bit of that reflected in my rune pages.
Mhm.
As far as marks go, you're going to see pretty much the same thing on every ADC, straight attack damage. The one variation you are going to see is going to be what's called the Jesus rune. And the Jesus rune is what a few players have taken a liking. Is they'll actually exchange one of their attack damage runes for a critical chance rune. And now
Yeah.
there's a little bit of critical strike. It can help. It can definitely win some trades in a few games here
Oh
and
yeah.
there. Nothing to necessarily count on, of course.
Yeah, the 1%, but hey, if you hit it, it's gold.
Yeah. I've seen some videos on Reddit of that.
Yeah.
But generally, the reason you're gonna want to run this is pretty self-explanatory. Is you're gonna get that last hitting easy a little bit easier. You're gonna harass a little bit better, et cetera, et cetera. And the big thing a lot of people don't realize is if you do run 8 marks
Mhm.
AD and then
Mhm.
one AD Quint is gonna help you last hitting under tower.
Mhm.
Say you get pushed to tower. Say they have a Karma support or a Morgana support. Somebody that's gonna naturally help push the wave with their AOE abilities and you get pushed to tower. It's going to be inevitable. Maybe 1 out of 3 games will happen to you. You're going to want that little bit of attack damage. So when the tower hits a melee twice, you can hit it once, and
Mhm.
when it hits a caster once, you can hit it once. And this is going to give you that amount of attack damage early game, so you can effectively last hit our tower.
Right on.
As far as seals go, seals you're generally going to be building some kind of defense. As far as an early game setup goes, what I'm using is 5 health and 4 armor. This is to make sure I have the most effective health at early game. And so, like I said, I'm a very aggressive player. I'm gonna be taking those hits early. I'm gonna be trading with the ADC and support. I'm trying to establish those advantages early. So I'm trying to have the most effective health as early as I can, so I come into that early game with an advantage. Now, if I have this set up and I'm going into late game, this is obviously nothing to count on.
Mhm.
So if I'm looking for a more mid game approach as far as my runes go, as my seals, maybe I want to go a full armor build. So maybe I'm a player that plays something like a Vayne or a Twitch who really hits their power spike around mid game and really gets to the hyper carry status around late game. So if I'm looking for that peak in damage mid game, I'm not really looking to harass before that. So before that, I'm not really concerned about taking the hits. I'm trying to stay away from that as much as possible, trying to rely on my Doran's Blade and my Feast Mastery to keep me sustained. So
Mhm.
I'm not really looking for those defensive stats early because I'm not planning on trading. Now, I am looking to get into that fight. Say I have a Thresh support and he lands a hook, and as soon as I hit 6 and then I get my ult and I go all in, that's when most of my skirmishing is going to be happening. So I want to maximize my potential as far as effective health in that mid game. So how am I going to do that is going to be running a full armor set. Now, say you're a late game carry, maybe a passive player as far as lane goes. You're the type of player that plays Caitlyn not for their harass, but for their farming potential. You like sitting there farming all game. Your mid's getting pushed down to the inhibitor. Don't care, you're farming. You're all a late game player.
Mhm.
So maybe you want to go with a little bit of early game armor, maybe like 4 flat, and then maybe you want to go 5 or 6 scaling armor to really give you that extra kick of a little bit of armor in that late game. So those are just some things to think about. Of course, you know your playstyle better than I know your playstyle. So finding that happy medium is going to be what's going to make you golden.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh yeah, feel free to interrupt me at any moment.
Oh
I
no,
tend to
I'm just
ramble a lot.
listening. I'm just listening to like the breakdown of why you do what, you know?
I'm
Like it.
actually going to skip lists right now because they have about 5 or 6 different variations, and I'll go over to my quints right now.
Okay.
So at quints, you're generally going to run the AD mark for what reason I specified earlier,
Mhm.
and generally you're going to see 3 different setups on most players, and you're going to see a 4th setup on the pro players, and I'll explain that in a second. So generally the 3 you're going to see are going to be extra attack damage, lifesteal, or attack speed.
Mhm.
So lifesteal was the old king.
Yeah, definitely.
It was very popular. You get 2 lifesteal runes, you get 6%.
Uh-huh.
And that's 6% when you're hitting for about 100 early game. You're healing about 6. You're
Yeah.
getting 5 from your Doran's Blade.
Dorans, yeah, that
Getting,
was nice.
and you're getting 2 from Feast.
Uh-huh.
And so you're getting a good amount of health in that early game, actually a respectable amount. But now, since it's been reduced to about 4.5%, you've actually lost about 33% efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Feast has been buffed a little bit by 1 point to kind of counteract this early game to help you out a little bit. But really, a lot of players have switched over and jumped ship to the attack speed variation.
Mm-hmm.
The reason attack speed variation is really cool and my personal favorite is because it does quite a few things. Not only does it increase your attack speed, which is your obvious thing, but you got to realize it decreases the length of your animation.
Right.
So you look at supports these days. You got Braum, Thresh,
Mm-hmm.
Leona. You've got Morgana, Karma. You've got all these supports that all rely on skill shots. They lock you down, and then them and their 80 sages kill you. So the less time you're going to be standing still in that animation is the less time they have for an easy skill shot to land.
Right. Right. Right.
And so that's a neat thing you get from that extra attack speed. And of course, you're going to get that extra stat as well, as in, like, if I see them coming up the last hit a minion, and I'm not personally looking to last hit a minion, I can go up attack them, and I can stay on them. If they choose to turn around, and I'm not taking minion aggro, and they just send an attack my way, if I'm running just that edge of attack speed, and they're running lifesteal, then I have the opportunity to send a second auto attack at them, and then get out before they can send a second one at me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in that little transfer, you're getting a lot of effective damage onto them for taking a minimal amount.
Yeah.
And so, if you can repeat this process over the course of a laning phase, you can build up that advantage. You can get them below half health, whereas a mastery like Executioner will start taking effect, where you get below 50%, you deal a little bit more extra
Mm-hmm.
damage. It's not quite always relevant, but it's that little boost. Like, you're harassing, you're whittling them down. You're not looking to crit them for 1200 at this point in the game.
Right.
So you're getting that little advantage. You're building that advantage. Maybe they get scared. The next time they look for a minion, they're like, they have to check your positioning. Maybe they back off and you're getting that CS advantage for free just because you're running runes like this. And now, as far as like straight attack damage goes, you'll see this on a lot of players that like playing stuff like Draven,
Mm-hmm.
Caitlyn, for example. The early game auto attack gods, basically.
Right.
You're looking to go in, you're looking to auto attack somebody's Draven at level 3, and you're looking to hit them for 140 damage. That kind of ridiculous nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is neat and all, but you gotta weigh out your advantages and disadvantages. So you're getting those advantages early game with that extra attack damage. You're getting that easier farming. You're a little bit slower on the auto attack, but if you're hitting them for 140 and they're hitting you twice for like 100, you're not losing all that much. So it's all about give and take as far as an AD goes. If you're running those high damage runes, you're going to be expected to get that harass out early. You're not looking to build those damage runes and just farm for days.
Right.
Basically.
Right. Right.
And then you get the pro players like Double Lift, Wild Turtle, Cutie Pie, etc., etc. And if you look at the rune pages, a few of the rune pages, you'll actually see one armor quint. So you'll see a setup like one attack speed, 180, and one armor quint. And now I've seen some of my students blindly follow this, and I cannot fault them. If I don't understand why somebody's doing it, and they're doing it at a top level of play, why shouldn't I be doing it?
Mm-hmm.
So I get that mentality a lot, but what you have to realize when you look at these pro players' pages is they're at a elo when they go to auto attack a minion. If the enemy is not auto attacking a minion, if the enemy support is not occupied, it's very likely that their attention is going to be on you. So every opportunity they get, they're at the elo, they're at the skill level where they are going to abuse you for any advantage you try to take. So when Double Lift goes for CS, another good AD carry will likely be auto attacking him as well as a support. So that extra 4, extra 5 armor early game is where he's going to be getting that extra resistance, trying to survive that laning phase early game.
Right.
And so you'll see that on a few pro ADCs. Personally, I don't recommend it on any elo below Diamond 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't run it because I notice most of the time people are not as high caliber to recognize those opportunities, even
Right.
at my elo. Not saying it's high or anything, but still.
No, I know what you mean though. I do understand. Yeah, absolutely. I know exactly what you mean. It's not like blindly following because you're not playing people that are going to abuse that, little chance you take for, a split second.
Yeah. And as far as gloves goes, usually you're gonna want to run some type of resistances. Now on my first page, this is an exception. But you generally want to go with some type of magic resist, So whether that's all flat, a little bit of flat and some attack speed, or a little bit of flat and some scaling, that's going to be up to you. Now, personally, as my playstyle, I'm very not going to say arrogant, but I'm very confident in my playstyle. I like dodging abilities. I like baiting. I like doing little cheeky little things.
Hmm.
So I'm trying if for my first rune page, this is a rune page where I'm looking to go up against a Thresh. I'm looking to go up a Leon or a Braum.
Hmm.
Somebody who that's not reliant on that magic or that magic damage. So they're not looking to kill me with magic damage. They're looking to kill me by locking me down with a hook into a flay so
Hmm.
their AD carry can throw down their flame chompers and hit me with a zap and a few auto attacks and I'll die.
Right.
Um, so for this page, I'm maximizing my damage potential by going all attack speed. Now, if we go over to my second page, this is if I'm going against something like an Annie bot lane, a Karma bot lane, a Zyra bot lane, for example. Some bot lane where I know, hey, it's not probable that I'm gonna dodge all these abilities. I'm gonna take some damage here or there. And if I do take that damage, if I'm not running that magic resist, I'm gonna get chunked, I'm gonna get pushed out of lane, and it's just not worth it. So I'm running an amount where I feel comfortable. I'm getting that 8 magic resist. I'm getting a comfortable amount where I can still abuse my advantage. I still get a little bit of that extra attack speed, so if somebody else is running attack speed as well, I can get that slight edge. And basically, I'm just trying to build my advantage off that. Now, if I'm a more conservative player, maybe my first page will be all magic resist, so that if I do take that random damage, that I will be okay. I'm a conservative player. I'm not looking to trade. I'm looking to farm, etc., etc. Or maybe I'm a really defensive player, and I see they have a Syndra mid, and I see they have an Annie support who's going to hit that mid game spike, who's going to hit that Tibbers. Maybe I want to go 5 magic resist and 4 scaling magic resist. So that mid game Syndra, that mid game Annie, I'm a little bit more prepared for. And these are all things to take in consideration.
Hmm.
Of course, any gaps you have as far as like you scale back that magic resist, etc., you're looking to fill with other advantages. So personally, my advantage of choice is attack speed. Another one that a lot of people like to do is mana generation. I've noticed a lot of the spellcaster type AD carries. You have your Corki, your Ezreal, your Lucian. A few Sivir players I've seen run it. They like running 4 runes of flat mana generation, and
Hmm.
this will give you the exact same amount of mana generation as if you went 2109 in your Masteries and went to the meditation perk.
Hmm.
So that's one thing to think about as well.
Right on. Um, do you want to? I mean, I can. If you want to take a look at mine, I mean, I can show you them.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. So which page will I
Let's see. So, so the number one is like is the one I run attack speed on.
did use the certain? I like it.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, exactly right. And then see that's, but I do understand what you're saying with, like I guess what does it put you at 11 AD if you run full AD marks and then
One
one
quint.
quint? Yeah, so that's what you're saying is like that one point is what helps you under turret. Is that would that be
No,
accurate
not
or?
necessarily. It's usually around 8 and 1
Okay.
mark or 1 quint is what's gonna help you. It's
Okay.
just to get to a comfortable level.
Uh-huh.
So as you hit that level 5, as you hit that level 6, and maybe you're behind in experience or etc., then when those minions come and they're a little bit stronger and they start getting hit by the tower,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to hit them twice.
Right, right. I know. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Um, so yeah, that's typically what I'll run on an AD that doesn't consume a lot of mana. I like scaling things because I kind of play safe, which I know is probably not the best idea because especially if you can like force a level 2 engage if you push it fast, but um, I typically like to run scaling magic resist.
Okay.
That's just personal preference. I don't know if that's necessarily the right thing, but just from
That's not a bad thing at all.
right, that's just kind of what I've done in the past. The other one I'll run for mana consuming AD casters is number 5. Don't rock the jukebox. Let's see here. This is a little different. So
I see the health per level.
yeah, how do you feel about that?
As far as health per level, you're looking for that mid to late game a little bit of extra health.
Hmm.
Like I believe it gives what is it, 24, 48, 96 extra.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to be blocking half an auto attack or like a sixth of a spell with that
Hmm.
HP. At that point, I don't know if it's better just to go into the resistances or not.
You think it's better just to, oh yeah, I see what you're saying, like late game with
Yeah,
the
I mean,
armor.
if you're building a scaling page,
Hmm.
generally you're looking at it for late game. You're not building a scaling page going in for that early and mid game.
Hmm.
So even if you had those stats at early game, that extra 96 health,
Hmm.
then that's going to block one auto attack. Sure, that's huge. Every page should run 9 of these, but
Hmm.
that's obviously overpowered. So as far as like your late game scaling, you got to look at it in comparison. You're seeing Dravens, you're seeing Caitlyn's who are critting for 1200.
Hmm.
What is that 96 extra HP gonna give you at that
Right,
point?
right, 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 right. So you would
Especially,
suggest something more along the lines of just flat armor.
I would either go flat armor or some scaling armor because scaling
Hmm.
armor that's gonna be effective until they get lost whisper. Whereas the flat health, if you don't have those resistances,
Hmm.
then it's not gonna matter as much as say if you had armor.
Right, right. Okay. Um, let's see. I think in this page I don't run.
You run one mana generation,
Yeah, I run.
scaling mana generation.
Yeah, and then exactly.
Few magic resist. Yeah. I mean, it looks pretty solid. I just don't like. I'm not a fan of the scaling health. I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely not a bad thing. Like any, of course, positive stats are gonna help you. I mean, you're not running AP on this page, so
Right. Okay. I mean, yeah, that's
so you're in the right direction.
yeah.
You know you're on 80k.
Right, right. Okay. I'll have to look at that and I mean, I've noticed like you would just run flat health before you ran, I guess, scaling health at this point with this page, probably.
Because the scaling health is going to help you out in the late game where everybody's big and beefy. If you're
Hmm.
looking to build for a late game page, you may want to go into a scaling armor or scaling resistances.
Right.
You're going to maximize your effective health. As far as that's like why people build a guardian angel instead of like a Randuin's omen,
Hmm.
is because it gives them those resistances before that health. Of course the actives don't hurt. Um, but you see Banshee's Veil before Warmogs, etc. Just resistances are usually better than flat health
Right.
because it's a lot harder to get that penetration than it is to get that flat damage.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. When you explain it like that, it makes a lot more sense. Cool. Yeah, so that's typically what I run, and I'm gonna look at that health scaling after this. But anyways, um, so yeah,
I'll invite you to Team Builder now if you would like. Or we
cool.
can do one for all. But
Right. Hey, let me ask you real quick on Masteries. What do you think of like Warlord?
I forgot to go over Masters, didn't I? I'm so bad at this game. But here, let me go back here. Let me invite you to another game.
Okay.
Told you I just get ahead of myself
No, it's
sometimes.
no worries.
So yeah, over here to a Masters. We'll be looking at my 1 and 2 page again.
Okay.
So the biggest difference you're gonna see between these two pages is one's meant for my spellcaster
Hmm.
ADCs, that is, my
Right.
Lucian, Corki, Graves, etc. So those people I usually build Triforce on, basically. A little bit more mana intensive, kind of pokey type of guys.
Hmm.
So on my first page, generally as an ADC, you're going to want to go to the second column and go all the way down. The
Right.
exception to this, of course, is Warlord, because it's percent-based damage, is if you're looking to go into a late game perk or not. And then I go a 9-0 build. Personally, I've seen a few 09s. I don't think it's effective. The biggest difference between the 9-0 and the 09 build is going to be whether you're looking for sustain over time or flat stats, usually. So looking to the defensive tree, you're going to get a little bit of that flat stat in your mana generation, not mana, your health regeneration per 5 seconds, going
Hmm.
to give you that little bit of sustain. Your 36 base health and your 3% maximum health. And 3% maximum health is going to help out a little bit late game, whereas the early game balanced by your veteran scars. And of course, I like this because I go for the early game build. I'm looking to get in there. I'm looking for all. As far as your utility page, generally you're going to see somebody go in this for the meditation perk, the alchemist, and the culinary master. Now they're probably going to pick up something like Summoner's Insight or Phase Walker or Scout, which is going to help a little bit. But they're not necessarily relevant to what we're looking to get out of this tree.
Hmm.
So the biggest difference between this is you're looking at the defensive tree, you're getting flat health, you're getting flat percent max health, and you're getting flat health regen per 5. Whereas in the utility tree, you're getting that flat mana regeneration, but sure, you can fill that up with runes, where I can't necessarily get that 40 health very easily
Right.
in my runes, and I definitely can't get that 3% maximum health in my runes. Um, but you're also getting the Alchemist and the Culinary Master. So if you, the thing I don't like about that is you're playing ADC. Generally, you're going to start with a Doran's Blade, and generally going to start with one pod. I understand if you're a support player and you're starting with 3 to 5 pods, and you're popping those multiple times, you're getting an extra 100 health off Culinary Master, and you're getting that extra 50% off of your durations. But as ADC, I just don't think it's effective.
Hmm.
Now, if you are playing somebody like Vayne, if you are playing somebody that's kind of conservative, like you're just looking to get by, maybe you're looking to invest in those pods. Maybe you're looking to try to just not touch the enemy. All you're worried about is farming. Maybe that's the play style you want to go, and maybe this is the route you want to take because it is long-term sustain. And that's going to be something for you to decide. Personally, I like the flat stats better. I think they're more valuable to me. If you do find yourself buying a lot of pots, running out of mana, then maybe I would suggest a utility setup.
Okay. Yeah, I typically go 21-9 as well. I,
Okay.
I actually have never done the utility setup, but that's just, I don't
I'd
know,
say about 20% of players run it.
right?
That would be a little bit high. I don't know. But generally, if you use scouting programs, one out
Hmm.
of every 5 games, you'll see one of the team's ADCs running it.
Right.
As far as the other perks go in your offensive tree, we're going to be looking at Butcher and the Feast, Executioner, it's a dangerous game. We're going to be looking at Frenzy, Spell Beacon, Blade Weaving, and Double-Edged Sword. Now, a few ones that they kind of get overlooked are Sorcery and Exposed Weaknesses. And personally, I've seen quite a few 80s, especially at higher levels, start using Sorcery to try to maximize their damage.
Hmm.
As far as like taking a few out of Warlord, putting them to Sorcery.
Hmm.
So when you have these 20-second cooldowns at early levels, when you get that, I think it's 5%.
Hmm.
Yeah, 5% from sorcery, that you're taking literal seconds off
Right.
those
Right.
timings. So if you're playing somebody like Lucian, whose dash is on an 18-second cooldown, you're playing
Hmm.
with a 14-second Q. Maybe you're playing like Sivir with a 22-second Q. You're looking to get that little bit of edge, so maybe you can pop out a Q a few seconds before an enemy's
Hmm.
expecting it. So that early game advantage is going to outweigh that late game percent damage from Warlord.
Right. Right. Right.
So that's kind of your trade-off there. And as far as like Warlord trading off into like Double-Edged Sword, I don't like that one in particular because you're gaining 1.5% from both of them. The
Hmm.
advantage is from Double-Edged Sword, you're gaining that 1.5% from spells as well, but you're taking that
You're
1.5.
right. Right. Uh,
So am I doing enough damage with spells to make it relevant?
right.
Now, Graves, when I'm queuing somebody for 400 and I'm ulting somebody for 600, yes, that would be worth it. But if I'm playing somebody like Sivir where my ricochets are doing 60 damage
Right.
and I'm taking 1.5%,
Yeah, it's not
that's
really
where it gets a
right.
little iffy. Um, so that's the basic rundown of Double-Edged Sword. As far as like taking Warlord off and to go into Executioner Dangerous Game, you're going to be looking at another late game versus late game perk. As far as Double-Edged Sword, I mean, not Double-Edged Sword, as far as Executioner and Dangerous Game goes, I personally like Executioner as a mid game perk. I see it as a mid game perk because I'm a level 9 Graves. I'm looking to auto attack them and try to get them low. I'm looking to burst them the second they get on their 50% because I'm looking to maximize my effective damage. Whereas if I'm playing somebody like Vayne, who's going to be waiting back and not really poking them down, it's only going to be relevant late game when I do get them below that 50% as a killing blow type of thing. Of course, it's not going to be relevant early. It's percent based. You're not dealing a huge percent of damage. So 5% of a 80 damage auto attack. What's that? 3.5 damage. Nothing huge.
Right.
I mean, it could be relevant. I do see people live all the time with 9 HP. I'm not saying it's not going to get you a kill. I'm not saying that it is going to be more effective than another perk, though. I'm going to jump back to Butcher and Feast real quick, going into early game.
Hmm.
And so Butcher, you're not going to take it for Butcher, generally. You're generally going to take Butcher to go into Feast,
Right.
because that 2-year damage, as far as last hitting, you may want to take it to make last hitting under tower early if you're not very confident. That'll make it a little easier. But Feast is one of your early game Masteries. So you're
Hmm.
generally going to get this 7 out of 10 times when most ADCs are gonna want this perk. That's just because with the nerf to the lifesteal master runes, sorry, not masteries, the lifesteal runes and the slight buff to Feast as well as the slight Doran's Blade buff. Well, Doran's Blade didn't get buffed. Didn't it get reduced in cost or something? Anyways, irrelevant. But you're healing 8 between the two. I know it doesn't seem like a lot on its own, but when you get that combined with your 8 from your Doran's Blade and you get that little bit of 10% lifesteal early game, maybe early mid game, level 5 with your Vampiric Scepter, then that's where it's going to start adding up. You're not looking at this perk to be a one to rule them all like Dangerous Game. You're
Right,
looking
right,
at this as a supplement, not necessarily solid on its own type of thing.
right.
Not like Frenzy. So of course it's gonna fall off mid game when you have 1200 health and you need $100 attacks to heal 300 health. It's not gonna be relevant.
Right.
Or it's late game when you have 2000 health and you're auto attacking for 100 mana. It's nothing. So just regard that. So as far as jumping down to Dangerous Game, I love this perk. The problem is I never get to use it. And the problem with that is I don't play any hyper carries. I feel
Right.
like this perk excels on hyper carries. If we look at our current meta, disregard LCS. We're looking at solo queue meta.
Right.
LCS is going the more way of late game hyper carries. Let's get utility, let's get damage, let's get huge type of playstyle. Kind of season 2 all tank, but shooting for that late game, that gold generation. Yeah, nasty meta. Hope that doesn't catch on the solo queue. But in solo queue, you're seeing junglers like Kha'Zix, not after the nerf, but you're seeing junglers like Vi, Pantheon. Rengo is really huge right now because he can one-shot carries. You're
Right.
seeing all these high damage, high mobility, high CC junglers. You're seeing top laners that excel at getting to the back lines. People like Renekton and Shyvana and just bashing those ADCs, trying to get rid of the damage. You're seeing supports, Annies, Zyras, Morganas, who are jumping in the fight, landing that CC, trying to get you dead. And you're playing a hyper carry who doesn't have escape.
Right. Right.
Now, that's getting popular though, the hyper carries. And this perk goes so well with them because as a hyper carry, you're relying on flash and escape. Somebody is going to get on you in one of those times. That Renekton's going to get on you. You're going to take Dominus damage. You're going to take his stun damage. You're going to take his Q damage. You're going to get hit by that Shyvana. You're going to get set ablaze. You're going to get these AoE abilities hit on you. You're going to take that damage. And the way you're going to survive these fights, you're playing somebody like Twitch, who's going to auto-attack and hit 4 people on accident.
Right.
You're playing somebody like Jinx, who's going to shoot a rocket and hit 3 people. You're playing somebody like Vayne, who's attacking whoever's closest, and at any time that could be up to 4 champions. So you're putting all this damage on different champions, and the second one goes down, you're getting that boost back. Okay, so you get that boost back, now you're at an advantage. You take that advantage, you snowball that into the next skill, you get 10% back, you hit that next skill, you're 15% back. Suddenly, you're at the reasonable health where you feel comfortable standing there in front of the 2 remaining players, and you feel comfortable attacking that tower. And that could be the difference in between a tower going down, a Baron going down, and say you dying or not surviving a good night. And that's the reason I like it on hyper carries. You don't have that method of escape. You're not Ezreal. You're not somebody like Caitlyn. You're not Graves. You're not Lucian. You don't have that free escape. Get out of jail free card. Get out of free card. But yeah, so that's why I love this perk. I absolutely adore it.
Yeah, I just recently picked up Dangerous Game, actually, started using it instead of Warlord and Double-Edged Sword. I had Double-Edged Sword for some reason for so long when, to me, like you said, it just, at the end of the game when you're hitting for, 700, 800 crit, what's the difference in 1.5% if you're only at, if you only have 1200 health, let's say, or whatever.
Yeah.
Just the trade-off isn't worth it. So, but yeah, that's I put that into Dangerous Game, and I think I've liked it so far.
Yeah, I definitely love that. As far as like Frenzy goes, it's gonna be like a middle of the game perk. It's gonna scale well into late game. Given that though, you're looking to get this perk up and running when you hit that mid game Phantom Dancer, that static shift, that Triforce. As soon as you hit that power spike, this is gonna spike as well. This is when you're gonna try to force a trade. You're gonna notice sometime, even as the enemy laner is ahead of you, he kills you and you back. Maybe he hasn't backed it a lot. He's sitting on 2,000 gold, and you pick up that static shift. You come into lane, you hit him 3 times, you get that frenzy going. You're 15% extra attack speed with your 15% from your runes, and you're going off on this guy, and suddenly this Caitlyn doesn't know why this Lucian suddenly can kill him when she's been killing him all game.
Right.
That's why this perk is a favorite in my book. It's pretty self-explanatory. Extra attack speed for crits.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna hit that mid game. Then coming over to page 2, just looking at my spell weaving setup. I like going into the dangerous game here because as a spell weaver, as a blade weaver, you're generally you're looking to get that intermediate kind of middle range disengagey type of damage. You're looking to play Lucian. You're calling the meek from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
Not, yeah, you're totally using Renekton's Q. You're yeah, the culling, not culling the meek.
No,
But,
I knew. Yeah, no, I exactly knew what you meant, but
but yeah, so you're using those range abilities. You're hitting them from distance. You're getting your passive off. You're playing Corki. You're hitting those R's. You're from a distance. You're playing as Graves. I mean, not Graves. You're playing as Ezreal. You're hitting those Qs and you're ulting into the middle of a fight. You're looking to get those multiple sources of damage onto multiple targets, and that's why I love Dangerous Game with this. I'm taking out that Warlord just to get those extra points to go into spellwaving and blade waving. The last point I'm putting into Dangerous Game. It's fairly self-explanatory. Spellwaving and blade waving go. If I'm playing Lucian, I get to auto attack somebody. I get a Q on them, and I get 2 auto attacks from my passive. Suddenly, I'm doing 4% more damage than my enemy is doing to me.
mm-hmm.
And with a 1,000 damage crit, and if I'm looking to hit them for 40 extra damage because of that, that's half an auto attack.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely those advantages. So you're trading off that percent based for 2% base that can stack on each other, which is why I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions on Masteries?
I think that's good.
Okay. Now we can go into Team Leather.
Right on.
Watching the LCS lately?
Yeah, I tried to. Yeah, I have been Dignitas. Good God.
What have you been doing with your jungler, man?
What do you mean?
Amazing.
Oh,
Everybody
dude.
dies.
I don't, dude. No, I
Some
can't even talk
just
about
need a
that
little
right
help.
now. Like, oh man.
That's actually happening though. Did you see that post on Reddit where he did his AMA or whatever?
No, I didn't. I didn't even notice.
Here, let me pick a support for you real quick. Let's see, he seems fun right now. Play something not so common.
How do you feel about Fiddle support?
I like him. He's a little bit harassed. The problem he
Right.
suffers from right now is, of course, you have these high CC lockdown
Right.
support, where if Morgana lands a Q on him and then somebody crits him, he's dead.
Right, right.
That's where he lacks, of course.
I do. How do you feel about him going into like Nami? I mean, I guess the CC still remains, right?
If you're picking Fiddlesticks, you're looking to harass them down. If you're picking into Nami, who's a sustain-based champion who's looking to sustain until she gets her late-game utility, I don't think you're picking him for the right reasons.
Right, right.
Unless you're looking to get a cheap level 6 kill and with fear and then kind of win the lane based off that advantage you get there. Now, why do I have my support AP poke page selected as with my ADC weaving page? What was I accidentally last game?
what were you doing last game?
Don't ask me. But yeah, what happened was he posted on Reddit, and then one of the guy's questions was, "Hey, amazing, do you fear Lee Sin getting banned out?" And he's like, "No, if Lee Sin gets banned out, I'm comfortable playing Oznick and."
Yes, I saw this. I did actually see this.
And
then they banned him all the first game.
Pick Lee Sin.
He just trolled himself. What is he doing? Oh God. Oh man, that was bad. I don't know, man. I went to Lone Star Clash and watched Glebe and I guess Cloud9 Tempest play along with Complexity.
Yeah.
And Glebe played really, really well there, but
He scored negative points for Elf.
that's what
How are you gonna do that?
That sucks.
I literally would have played odd one over him.
You would have done better if the odd one. That's so bad. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know.
That's like one of my friends. He played an all Dignitas team. In one of my leagues, I drafted all Dignitas, and that one scored me 270 points. But he played all Dignitas, and for his blood, he put Skara, and now he beat his opponent because Dignitas scored 220 points, and his enemy had 3 TSM players.
Oh god,
It
that's
was
bad. That's bad.
the actual god. Scar as coach in the flex.
Dude, I met Scar actually at Lone Star Clash. That was cool.
He seems like a pretty chill guy.
No, he was totally cool. Like, did not care. I mean, there were tons of people coming up and talking to him, and he was totally just cool with taking pictures of everyone, which is cool to see. So.
See, I could never survive LCS because I'd try and jump up on stage.
Right.
Photo shoot.
It was pretty cool, man. Like, all the players were just kind of walking around, and it was
like
fun.
Actual people.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. It's like they're glorified in this,
Do
but
we accept this Lulu even though she's a jungle marksman?
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know if I like the marksman part. If she was just regular jungle, if she wasn't building attack damage, then I might have
Jungle
gone for it.
marksman. Oh, damn it.
That's like people thought I was trolling season 3 because I climbed the plat 1 playing only jungle Morgana.
What? How did you do that?
Okay, so you gotta
Okay, you're too good at the game if you're playing.
No. The meta back then, it was people like Jarvan,
Right.
Zac, people who farm all day, get
Yeah.
big late game, they have tons of utility mid and late game.
Uh-huh.
And so I was never getting invaded. So you play Morgana, you match your W, you clear camps as fast as anybody else.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And now you're ganking potential. You walk to a bush beside the lane. You don't even walk to the lane, and you throw a skill shot out. You don't have to engage. You just throw a skill shot. If it hits the 3-second snare and you get a free kill,
Yep.
if it doesn't hit, you just walk away and act like it didn't happen. It was no risk, all reward jungling at its finest. Like, my KD was like incredible, like 65-70% win rate, and
Jesus Christ.
it was like every lobby I get.
Oh man, I'm sure you
it's
got
like,
flamed.
What the fuck? Jungle Morgana, and I'm just like looking me. And then they're like, alright then. And then they flip.
Fair enough. Let this man do his thing.
I started playing your mid lane and I dropped my win percentage by like 20%.
Yeah.
She was not a good mid laner at the time.
That's funny.
I am interested in the current meta though. I hope solo queue doesn't copy LCS like he usually does, because what LCS is doing, you're seeing these 4 versus 0 matchups and the stuff that solo queue can't copy. There's just not the teamwork. Curse Voice, Talk GG, websites like that are gonna help that out over time. It's gonna be a big advantage if you do have those programs.
Right.
It's not expected though, so you're not gonna get that next level of teamwork. You're not looking to invite your solo queue people to Skype. So you're not going to see these line up. And the thing I see with a lot of people copying LCS, like I played recently a Diamond 4 game, and the enemy bot lane goes a Nami Corki. I believe it was the exact same lane that not TSM ran, but was it Cloud9? I'm not sure, but it was the exact same lane run in the LCS, and I can't blame them for copying the LCS because they are the best of the best. They're who we look up to.
Right.
But what they don't understand is they're playing these not for the kill potential. They're not playing them for the mid-game burst, the mid-game spike. They're playing them so they can farm 300 CS in 28 minutes. They're playing them so they can scale the hardest into that late game and win the team fights. You're looking at LCS games that are not finishing at 20-25 minutes. You're looking at LCS games that are finishing anywhere from 48 to 60 minutes.
Yeah, it feels like they're going longer, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's just virtue of the junglers being played, the top laners being played, the mids being played. You're looking at high scaling support. I mean, mid laners like LeBlanc. You're seeing a Syndra here and there. You're seeing utility based ones like seeing junglers. Lee Sin, fairly early game, but he has this late game tanking potential as well as this quote unquote insect plays. And then you have people like their top laners where people are moving away from Renekton's, people are moving away from those early game top laners to more late game scaling ones like Jax. And everything's becoming late game oriented in the LCS. And then people are trying to bring down the solo queue, and then you see a top lane, and you see a insert bursty middle laner here, and you see a Draven bot lane, and they just get repped, and they're like, how do I lose? Pro players play this too.
Yeah.
It's just there's a gap of knowledge, I feel like, as
Right.
far as solo queue goes, and
Right.
I can't expect people to keep up with that, and you can't expect that either. The best you can do is like try to explain to your team, hey, the reason this works is, and then try to match it. If your support is guaranteed, do not care what you say. They are going to pick Nami, no matter if it's rainy, sunny, if the
Right.
meteor is coming through their house, they're going to pick that Nami.
They're playing Nami, damn it.
Yeah, the
Go
best thing
ahead.
you can do in that situation is, hey, I'm gonna pick a hybrid here, and you play that with them.
Right.
I assume you know what to build early game on an ADC.
I'm sorry?
So I'm assuming you know what to buy early game
Oh,
on an
yeah,
ADC.
yeah. Lucian, I go Bloodthirster into Trinity into Last Whisper.
You also have another option there, Bloodthirster versus Bork.
That's what. So I just prefer Bloodthirster because
That damage
Everybody
spike
deserves
Yeah.
a second
acts
shot.
is a little bit better.
I just like part of me likes to stay in lane until I can afford the BF.
You get a huge spike versus
Right.
back and you get a dagger here,
Right.
sword here. You're not getting that spike. You're looking to finish the item for the active, so you get that spike,
Nothing
which
colder
is
than death.
later your 2,400 gold versus 1,500.
Right. I find that like the damage is surprising once you come back to lane with a BF. If you can get on page
thing
with
to consider,
what'd you
you're
say?
looking for that spike. One thing to consider, you're looking for that spike. What happens if you're in a losing lane? Are you still looking for that spike? Maybe you want to go for that Bork if you're in a losing lane,
You
so you
don't
can
have
sustain
that.
under tower.
Right.
That's one option you have. If you do build that Vampiric Scepter first, you're not locked into either of those items. Something to consider.
That's yeah. Typically, so like my philosophy is if I'm
Minions have
even in lane,
spawned.
I'll build damage. If I start to fall behind, then yeah, I'll build sustain and just try to farm out the lane
Yeah.
as best as I can. I don't pick a spell first. I've noticed some just in some
Yeah.
videos people don't pick spells. So
It's generally better not to, just because you're playing somebody with an escape.
Right.
You're playing in a volatile environment, so there's a blitzcrank on the enemy team. Would I rather not like steal up and then so if I do get caught, I can go for that escape.
right.
Now I noticed you didn't leash. That's probably just because of distraction.
Yeah, I'm totally just distracted.
Don't be
That's
so rich.
100% what's happening there. I was
But,
just talking.
As far as leashing goes, fairly simple. If you're on red buff and blue side, you're generally gonna hit it twice with an ability and get to lane. If you're on blue side, it's a little bit closer to lane. You want to hit it 3 times to get to lane. So there's very kill potential in this bot lane.
Yeah.
So basically, what we're gonna try to do is if we can hit a little early level 2 and try to get them back a little bit, then be a neat advantage we can count on. Do you know when you hit level 2?
Is it like the second minion of the second wave?
3rd minion actually. It's gonna be your 9th minion. Keep on him.
Do you go W second?
On Lucian?
Yeah.
It depends on how volatile my lane is. Like here I would because we can out-trade them, but if I was going against something like Morgana or somebody with a long slow moving skill shot, then I would consider going for that dodging potential. And of course here I'm just looking to give them a bad day. We are winning the lane, so don't be afraid to play upwards. Be careful once we get to the tower because they do have Blitzcrank. Because if they grab us now, I feel confident we can win a trade.
Right.
So if you see your support playing upwards, don't be afraid to follow suit. Likewise, if you feel confident, you can show your support, hey, I want to get in there by positioning yourself. Same concept with body language. So like right here, we know we have the advantage. How do we establish our first advantage? It's going to be a fifth advantage. So it's going to be obviously zoning him off the wave. So I'm here just maxing my potential to harass by maxing my birds right now. I'll probably go into here later with my void injuring just for funsies. But yeah. So we want to be careful here. We want to back off. We know his hook's up. And try to get a ward out. It is getting around 3 minutes. You're generally going to notice their junglers are going to gank 3 minutes to 4 minutes, or 3 minutes and 30 seconds to 4 minutes, because the jungler will typically finish his path around 3 minutes and 15 seconds. You'll spend the rest of the time traveling to a lane and trying to set up an opportunity to gank. So if you do see their enemy bot lane coming to lane late, then they probably leave bot side, fairly standard right now. But if you do see them coming to lane early, they come right as the minions come. You can assume either they did not leash, that they're going to have a slow jungle path, or B, that their jungler starts top side. So you need to get a ward down by 3 minutes and 15 seconds minimum, so that you're ready for that gank.
Okay.
Got on the others, our Kale's teleport is going to be down, so we can't expect a level 6 fight to go in our favor if they do have the numbers on their side.
So you think that, like, in this matchup in particular, should I poke more with my Q against, like, this Draven? Especially, it's pretty obvious where he's gonna walk.
Yeah, I like using the W though. Not the W, but I like using the Q because it's the same thing as far as the oh, that was a mosquito. But it's the same principle as far as, like, you know where he's gonna land. The only difference is you can get CS from it as well, because you can line yourself up. Say there's a dying minion here and Draven's here. You can line yourself up where I'm standing, get the CS, not missing the CS. Whereas with an E, it's a fairly long animation. It's pretty hard to cancel. I'm not expecting anybody, even at my elo, to do it reliably. So what in that case, it's a lot easier to get the CS and the harass without. So I like leveling my Q in pretty much every circumstance. Like, I'd pretty much never level my W unless I'm getting zoned, and I end up getting zoned for a while. So, like, if I was just Draven here, I'd definitely be trying to recall here. There's no reason to
that's what I was thinking. Like, I don't know why he's just hanging around, but by all means.
You know, take advantage as you can get. Watch this, you're gonna die here.
That's bad, dude. Come on. Oh, what is he doing? I can't even see us.
Yeah, I've got a cure.
Yeah, they did. Now, if I walk up like this, one thing you'll notice is this Blitzcrank is a melee. So if he does hit me, you notice all of our minions.
All the minion damage is.
Yeah.
So
I took maybe 150 damage. I have Drain. I can get that health back.
That's back.
Whereas he is running.
He's not gonna get it back.
Only source, especially since he doesn't have pots. So things like that are things to consider as well. This can be applied if you're running Vampire Scepter, steal your CS for fun, but if you're running Vampire Scepter, etc., then you can draw a little bit of damage from those range supports, and you can have that aggro on them.
So, like,
now, okay, go ahead.
This Draven's like out of lane right now, right? So should I be slow pushing this, or would you push this?
Fast pushing it. We want to be pushing as fast as possible. The faster we get these minions to power while he's not there is the
faster they die. See, that's my thoughts too. But I've like seen. See, I don't even know this guy.
AFK. So we'll pretend this is a winning lane. What do we want to do in this situation? We want to push as hard as we can, how much we can control, and so we don't get ganked. We don't get surprise visits from their Lee Sin. We don't have a Lee Sin. Anyways, from our Lee Sin, we don't want any surprise visits from those ganks. But no, we want to try to establish our advantages and rotate those into next. So the first one's going to be getting these towers down, getting this global go, then establishing a vision control. For example, getting some pinks up around Dragon, getting some wards on our flanks, and possibly helping out mid lane. For Blitzcrank, I kind of feel for him. We can push this and then back here. We want to go help mid. I don't have a lot of gold for like for wards and whatnot. No, I mean I do have a lot of gold. I don't have a lot of vision control because of I haven't backed yet.
I could back as well. Do you? Okay, so like if you were me right here, would you have waited to push that tower down, or would you just have backed it like 1500, or what would have been your mindset right there? Let's say he came back to lane. I guess okay. So if it were me, I would have just. Sorry.
Some call it magic.
I guess I didn't have 1500, so I would have probably waited around. So yeah, I would have waited around till he came back, and then as soon as I had 1500, I would have tried to push as hard as I could, like with my R, and then I would have backed. That would have been my.
That's reasonable as well. I mean, the only thing you got to consider there is they're gonna have some time to secure an objective. Like if you both back, you and your support back, and your jungler have to scan the area, they do have a 30-second gap where they can kill that dragon. that's an opportunity they have. Now, in lower elos, they might not take this. You might be a little bit safer doing it, but it's never a good idea to counter stupidity, or their inability.
All right.
So, like right here, I know that you'd be safe with this blitzcrank. Let's kill him. I'm going in. Oh no! Oh no!
I'm good, I swear.
An enemy has been slain.
I died.
Oh, did you? I was so focused.
I was moving away and I accidentally auto-attacked Casterman and stood in place and connected the tower shot.
That sucks. I just sat there and dove under tower.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like right here, we notice that the percentage rate is where you're stronger than him. It's a good idea to go somewhere like bot lane and pick up that CS alone. That way you can let your support help other lanes, etc. And so you can build those advantages up. Oh, so what is this? Is this the recent patch? Because I'm seeing a little note as far as like my chat goes, corrupting channels and stuff and all that.
Yeah, what is that?
Nothing colder than
I'm not sure.
I have no idea what that is. So yeah, that's kind of like, okay, so here's a question I have. So we went to mid, right?
Correct.
And we did a little bit of tower damage there, but at this point in the game, so let's say we get down the tower, I mean, what's a reasonable tower down? Like 12 minutes, you would say?
Yeah.
Let's say we get tower down right then. Would I want to stay in this lane and just, solo queue-wise, just push this thing as like hard as I can, get warding like up in here?
Oh my god, you did not see me for that marinating. But as far as like what I would do in that situation is I would try to push the lane as far forward as I can, because that establishes pressure, right?
Right.
So with that pressure, I'm gonna die here. But with that pressure, that while they're being forced to farm that wave, like if they don't farm those 6 minions, that's almost half a kill's worth of gold they're giving up there. So you're getting CS advantage if they don't farm it. But with those minions you're pushing towards their tower, it allows you to not worry about farm. You farm the wave, you're waiting on for them to respond. So you can go mid for say a 3v1 and make somebody respond. If they respond, they lose that gold. If they don't respond, they lose that tower. In a perfect world, of course.
So the idea would be, sorry, I'm just
push it forward when you can.
Right.
Rampage.
Yeah, and so like, of course, this is obviously gonna be your shelf method. Get it pushed as fast as you can while they're not there. So by the time they show up, they're the waves out their tower and they're gonna be losing their CS, where it's gonna be harder for them. The alternative is the slow push, which is where you have 2 waves come up to each other and you kill the caster minions of the enemy wave, and now you have a 6v3 as far as like your minions go. And then with that 6v3, it's gonna take them about 30 seconds to kill that wave, and your minions will be at about the same like they won't have any minions die. That's really hit me. But
you don't have the heart.
Yeah.
yeah. So and then the next wave happens again. Now it's suddenly a 12v6, same ratio. It's gonna take about 30 seconds, maybe a minion dies. And then that whole time, you can start that slow push bot. You can pressure Baron, you can pressure top lane, and there's that, you know that wave is going to be going in a certain direction. You know that they're going to respond to that. Therefore, you can push another. I kill him with strength. I like the flash. I like that he believes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so, yes. Sorry, I'm like, trying to, like, I'm like literally just trying to focus on like what you're saying while trying to play the game, which is 10 times harder than I expected it to be. But, so that's like something that I like never, like it makes so much more sense now that you just say it so basically, and it's just like, Jesus, I don't remember why I thought about that. Because I'd push the lane like as hard as I could and I'd just back, right? Well then that gives them time to clear it and then adjust. So it's not effective at, you know, I'm not really affecting the game. I'm not rolling that, like you said, I'm making them, I want to make them decide whether or not they're going to come defend mid 3v2, 3v1, or whatever, or lose all that CS to the tower.
Shut down.
Yeah.
Right, like,
You're
that
fine.
literally makes like 100 times more sense, yet I've never done that, or never even considered that. I've just constantly backed.
Okay, good. That's what I'm trying to get here.
Yeah, no, like, seriously, like, I was just like, because that's what I would do. I would like, just fast push this wave, like, as fast as I could, right? And then I'll back in this bush right here, and then that would be it. But then I'm not actively making them to make any decision.
Placing wards down as you go, doing that vision control, and then pushing the lane.
Right. And then making them decide whether or not to save this turret or lose, you know, lose CS, which it's, I mean, depending on how big of a wave it is, it's a pretty big amount of CS. So then you decide whether or not you want to fast push or slow push, depending on the situation, map, you know, using map awareness, obviously, deciding what is most effective. So, that makes sense. So would you pretty much, and like I know that I should, but you save your E pretty much solely for escaping. Like, you would never use it offensively.
Have something like flash up, and I can guarantee myself getting a kill. If they have a enemy ADC or an enemy APC, somebody who's valuable on the enemy team, I may consider going forward, getting that kill if I know I'm gonna get it. If I recognize that they have ability A down, which is their CC, or they have summoner spell A down, which is gonna be a heal, then not here, but did I get the fear off? But then if I can guarantee I'm gonna get that kill safely, then I will consider doing that because it may be worth the risk for in layman's terms.
No, I know what you're saying.
Because trying to think yeah, so like if I knew her flash was down, I would have gone for that.
Yeah, but because she had flash, it was stupid.
It wasn't stupid. It was a good try. You like.
Yeah. No. I know what you mean though.
Down, buddy.
Yeah. No, I'm just kind of like, I'm not playing how I typically am. I'm just kind of just playing. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I'm not exactly thinking.
I mean, we're against a 4v5. We're going 9-19. I mean,
right.
Game is like literally the best. It's okay, we have a Kale. We'll win that game.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So how's our Kale doing? But so yeah, like
silver gold.
Like, when we were at that tower there, basically I shoved that lane, we rotated mid,
and
right off it. You can't hesitate, you can't back and then go, because then you lose all your advantage.
Yeah, you lose that lane momentum.
Right. You lose that pressure on the map, because they have time to clean it up.
Yeah. Like right now, putting pressure here, we know that Draven's back in these buying items, so we can establish a little bit of vision control. Put a pink up in front of Dragon, we know that's spawning soon. Make a pancake, gank mid, see if we can get something here.
Keep moving on.
Oh, he's scared of the opposite direction.
Enemy rampage.
You don't have that.
I regret this decision. I'll get him buff.
Double kill.
See now, so like, they're in the middle, right?
Yeah, so their pressure's all in the
I'm just seriously just gonna push this as fast as I can.
Yeah. That'd be the correct.
Get some tower damage on this, and then get the hell out of here.
Your team has destroyed
What is
a
this talent
turret.
that stuff fall? I don't know.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Spookin'.
Go ahead.
And
And they don't care.
yeah, they do not care.
You act like it was a safe haven.
I wanted it to be a safe haven, but it wasn't. I was hoping they would run.
Okay, what do we have on our team? We have a Kale. It'll all work out. Number one rule is totally cute. Pick OP meta champion. It's actually a joke, but generally it's better to go comfort over counter.
Yeah, that's typically what I've realized. Like in solo queues, like I don't really argue with guys that want to play some
I don't
champions.
care if you're playing Lulu jungle marksman.
Right.
No, I actually do if I get a choice, but
Well, no, I know what you mean though. Like, if you're comfortable on it, they're obviously going to perform better.
I've actually started playing out of my comfort zone. Yeah, you know that Victorious Gaming tournament or whatever?
Yes, yeah.
The last two I played in, out of the 6 rounds, I got target banned each time.
Really?
Yeah.
Can they tell who you're playing? Like who you
Yeah.
are?
Like you invite them to a custom game, right?
Oh, so they know exactly who you're.
High force again.
Oh,
Oh, he
he
just
hurts.
put the spirit me. Thank God. Thank God. He went after this guy. I'll get him off. Oh, it's like he knew!
He's so fed. What is that?
Okay, good. Is there this one?
12 and 2, yeah. That sucks.
Look at the bright side. We forced an AFK. You
Yeah.
want something proud of?
Hey, yeah. I mean,
But yeah, like we shouldn't have fought that just because like they had Mia, they had like the advantages. Like they had the gold advantage, they had the positioning advantage. They are a team with Ari and Game in small corridors. They will land all their abilities. Pantheon's pretty good regardless of positioning. Blitzcrank can get cheesy little put you out of positions. He's kind of neat. But as far as like our team goes, Lucian's very good at like kiting. Kale's great at kiting. Xerath is good in the jungle. Lee Sin's good in the jungle. And Fiddlesticks is meh in general. But so yeah, stuff like that you gotta look out for too. That fight was definitely not to our advantage. So we probably shouldn't have fought it, especially since we didn't have advantage. But it's okay because we have a kill.
Has been destroyed.
Well, like we want to look at where the momentum is going on the map. So we know we have more lanes, more minions bottom than our enemy has more minions bottom than we do. So we know that's gonna obviously push in. If we look at mid, we know it's even. It's likely to freeze there. If we look at top, it's likely to freeze there. So we know that we gotta counteract bottom, or either gotta push bottom before we make any other plays elsewhere on the map, for example. So we want to look out for stuff like that. If bot lane is pushing, and like say we want to do a dragon, we have to keep that in consideration, because that's obviously we can transfer that far to the next objective. But if that's pushing towards us and there's something like Baron, then we might have to sacrifice that. And that's a situation you can set up for the enemy too. You can force that slow push, you can get that momentum going in their direction, and then you can back off. And then you can force something like Baron. So they have to decide, do I get this huge wave boss that's gonna crash my tower and get my tower for free? But, oh, this guy's so dead. Like, I can't, friend.
Some
But
call
yeah.
it magic.
Like, stuff like that.
I call it good aim.
Watching where the minions are going and noticing how that's gonna affect the other lanes. Gotta believe here. Gotta believe. See what believing does? Ow! Believing hurts.
yeah, she hurt.
Hey, we have a tail. Can I flash the charm?
Who flashed the charm?
Keep
Can I? Oh, I didn't get this terrify off. I was out of range.
But you accomplished your goal.
I was trying to be a god. I like how I had to actually move in front of it though, before I could flash it. Call it a win. Jump at me, bro. I was kidding. Mean.
Ally has been slain.
It's okay, it's just Xerath. I mean, he's a feeder. After that. Kale ultimate.
How did he kick him through the wall? I was like, how did he get on that wall?
Who, Pantheon?
Lee kicked him through the wall.
Don't look sad.
I mean, they're out of minions, so. Gotta look at the resources. Pantheon can get a few abilities. Be a god.
On
Enemy
retreat.
killing.
Level 4 Draven.
Your turret has been destroyed. Enemy
ADC, you can make any insult you want as long as you say JJ afterwards.
Then you're good. Then it's all good.
Golden.
Those minions, damn it.
I want gold. Stay in base, don't leave. Kale dies right outside the base. I mean, in situations like this, I mean, obviously you just gotta turtle, and hopefully this doesn't happen in a real game where you just gotta get utterly stomped, because you honestly, the only thing you can do is wait for them to make a mistake. Whether that be by setting a force outside your base, peeking inside your base, it's a neat thing. If this tower's up, for example, and you know those moments when there's 5 enemies on both sides, and you're trying to see, like, who can get the grab first, and you notice wards will come over the walls, one thing you can do is put a pink like back here. It'll get all those wards cleared, and they can't clear the pink from that middle. So, even as ADC, like that 100 gold is more than worth it for your game. Think about it. If you farm 3 of those wards,
Yeah, you can money back.
Some call it
Good.
magic. I call it good aim.
Yeah, I think the hardest part, like this laning, obviously, I was playing horribly and CSing horribly, but typically I don't play that bad. I was just more focused on like kind of talking about it. But, like the hardest part is transitioning the advantage that I get.
I got him, boss. But yeah, I'm glad I can help there. And generally, for my students to do repeat lessons, when you do the repeat lessons, then I don't have to repeat things like Masteries, and I don't have to repeat things like how many times you should attack a blue buff or stuff like that. We can generally focus on more gameplay-oriented things.
Has been destroyed.
So like this is one of those games. So like we got to a good start, and then just talking about stuff we both distracted ourselves.
Right. A lot of it's just like theory based, like, you know, like that's a lot of the questions that I have is like,
Got him, boss! So yeah, feel free to ask me any questions.
An enemy
I'm
has
open to
been
it.
slain.
I like to pretend I know a thing or two.
no, it's just, like I said, most of it is just like figuring out how to roll an advantage. Like that to me is the hardest thing. Like,
So generally, as a bot lane, you want to look at it in a step-by-step process. Step 1, have vision control. If you don't have vision control, you cannot push, you cannot deny CS. You're gonna have to just outskill them as far as CSing goes.
Right.
So your priority is vision control. You can't get ganked, you don't have to worry about that. It's a straight 2v2 matchup. From there, you can push, you can harass, you can establish an advantage by harassing them correctly, you can establish advantage by pushing the tower. As you get that to tower or get them out of lane, you want to look at getting a tower kill or a dragon kill. It's going to give you a team-based advantage. Once you get that team-based advantage, you want to look at the closest advantage. Whether that be the next tower, whether we get bot tower and then we go to mid tower, or we get dragon and then we go to bot tower. You want to look at stuff like that. And of course, item advantages and all kinds of stuff like that are going to be intermingled here. Because the more gold you get, the more items you're going to get, fairly standard stuff there.
Right.
But, you don't want to take advantage of that. And now, when you have advantage, when you are ahead, you want to look at your comp. If your comp's good early or late game, if your comp's a better comp late game, maybe you want to, say, maybe you want to, not like group up. You want to get that CS so that while you do have your advantage, you can win those lanes solo, but you don't need to worry about that. As far as like, maybe you're a good team fight team where you want to get that early game group on if you can. So you want to look at stuff like that. As far as like once you have your advantage, how do you transfer that team-based advantage to like next advantage? And then you're grouping up, you're getting dragons, you're getting barons, you're winning games. Presently, you're diamond 5. Now what do you do?
Defeat.
right.
Well, that's for another lesson.
Right. Yeah, I think like I said, I think one of the things that I just didn't I haven't done in the past is instead of like shoving the lane to the tower and forcing them to react to two different things at once, which is like what I feel like the fucking gold like plague is just shoving down mid. You just got down mid, just shove mid. Like people don't rotate to outer towers, blah 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 blah. So like typically in solo queue, I'm calling that out to people like we need to focus on this. But so it's like that same advantage taking it to lane is like I don't know for some reason never clicked in my brain and allowing like me backing is just giving them time to clear the wave, then rotate to whatever I'm pressuring next. So I think that something that'll help me is just not understanding that I need to create the pressure and force them to make a decision, not just have a basic react to this, you know. It's easy to react to something when you only have one choice.
Yeah. But it's like when you have those options, when you're in control of the situation, where do you take that direction?
Well, I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Like when you do have that advantage and you
Uh-huh.
are in the power position, like
Right.
it's up to you to take that advantage.
Right.
And so if you're sitting on that advantage and you have a 400 gold advantage, it could be the difference between a best friend sword and like not a best friend sword.
Right.
And if you sit on that 400 gold advantage, and suddenly you're 5 minutes later in the game, and suddenly you both have bloodthirsters, like who would that advantage get you? Like an
Right.
extra. Like if you don't take that as the game goes on, the more that advantage will mean less and less. So you're either growing that advantage or you're letting it stagnate.
Right. And that's what I think I do. Is like that's what I was saying like where my CS falls off. I think it's just from like that in between objectives type of thing. And I try to keep a proactive like approach to it and just trying to constantly farm jungle in between and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But it still lags, you know. And I think it's the indecisiveness and just the lack of knowledge and experience with it. But I think it'll come. It's just like it's little decision things that I think that I struggle with at times, you know. So,
Yeah.
but it's something like as basic as you just saying it makes like it just it just clicks. Like I should freaking realize that, but I don't. So.
In Skype here, I'll be linking you on a few links. I believe it's like 7 YouTube channels I love.
Uh-huh.
Um, some of the more different ones, like Not People, are UNSW. They're going to do your hour-long lectures focusing on bronze, silver, gold level play.
Mhm.
Um, so, and his ADC is one of the guys' mains, actually, so you'll get it's a pretty good source of information. So, and then you have people like Red Mercy, G-Bay, Foxdrop, who they'll do some gameplay commentaries and whatnot every now and then. Impact is a support player, but he's very informational. If you're looking to stay up on and see why are people playing this guy in support, he'll likely have a video on it. And as far as lolvods.net, that's going to be all your tournament play where you can view it on YouTube.
Okay.
And your Imgur link, that's going to be your CSing infographic. If you ever want to,
Oh, right on. I'm gonna click
yeah,
that.
if you ever have like 8 minutes, 5 minutes of time, then you can try to perfect your CS and these non-simple steps. Well, I say simple, they're actually very challenging.
Right. Hold on, man. My computer's been acting up, but there it goes.